Welcome
to Shamba Shape Up.
We have traveled all over East Africa to find hard-working farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need,
so they can adapt and make their farms more productive even while the climate changes.
We want to support them to get better yields and increase their income.
We will see how farmers can benefit from our experts' advice
while learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experiences
on the Shamba Shape Up Safari. Shamba Shape Up has been to many parts of the region. Kenya, Uganda.
Welcome!
Shamba Shape Up Uganda! And Zambia.
Welcome
to Munda Makeover.
So, farmers, you have followed all the advice we have given you in this season, tested your soils and added the recommended fertilizers and compost. You have used certified seeds to ensure you get a good harvest. You have used conservation agriculture practices such as using drip irrigation, mulching, and weeding to conserve water and nutrients in your soils. And now, you have a good harvest from your Shamba. But do you know you can still lose this harvest because of something called post-harvest loss?
Yes, Tony. Farmer can lose up to 40% of their crops after harvesting. So, in today's episode, we will see how we can reduce or even stop these losses. So, let's get to it. First, let's join Tony in Makueni. Who are you meeting there, Tony?
I'm off to meet our next expert, Rosemary Babu from World Food Program. She's here to help our farmer avoid post-harvest losses through better drying and storing of grains and pulses.
So, Rosemary, how serious is this problem of post-harvest losses, especially in Africa?
So in Africa, we are seeing that 40% of all the food that is produced is lost due to post-harvest losses. And this occurs across the whole supply chain, from the moment the farmers are harvesting it, to transportation, how they dry it, and how they're storing it. And today we are going to focus majorly on storage.
Wow,
yes.
That sounds interesting. I can't wait to meet our expert, Howard. I see he's waiting for us patiently there with our farmer. Let's go meet them.
So Rosemary has invited Howard Mogera from AgroZ. He's inspecting the grain store with our farmer Caro. Caro has some bags of green grams all ready for storage. But are they ready to go in? Or does Caro need to make some more improvements to the store first?
I can see from the condition of your store that there are a lot of holes on the side, big holes, which means that it is easy for rodents, easy for insects to get in, which means they will eat your crop and lower the quality of your crop.
Aha. Yes. So for today, what do you suggest we do to help our farmer Caro?
I have seen that she has another store right over there where she has been putting some maize cobs. We can clean that up and demonstrate to her good storage practices.
That would be wonderful, and I'm sure Caro would love that, wouldn't you?
Okay.
Now, you said before storing any grain, it should be dried first.
Yes.
Caro, how do you dry your grain?
Sincerely speaking,
yes,
we do not dry our grains.
What's the danger of that, Howard?
You increase your chances of getting aflatoxin,
Yes.
which is poisonous. And because this is your means of survival, you are losing out on income that would be very good for you if you were to sell your grains.
Aha. What do you recommend farmers to do if they really want to dry their pulses or their beans?
We are using tarpaulins. We have it right over there.
Let's go have a look at the tarpaulin. Now, Howard, explain to us what's going on here.
This is one of the ways that she should start drying her pulses, and specifically these cowpeas, to get the 14% moisture content that is required.
Using a tarpaulin also helps keep dirt and diseases from getting onto the grain and molds like aflatoxin from growing.
So after you know that your grain is dry, where do you store it?
In our normal bags.
Is that correct?
So for storage purposes, we have the hermetic bag. And the purpose of the hermetic bag is to control oxygen transmission into the bag to deny the insects any chance of breathing, and therefore they die. Any pest can die off because of suffocation.
When the inner bag is correctly tied, it keeps out the air, so any pests already inside will die. And the tough outer bag will stop any new pests from getting in. This way, they can't eat your grain, so no need to use pesticides. Better still, the bag can be reused for up to 3 seasons. But what if you have too much grain and your store is too small?
We have here what we call a hermetic silo. This silo takes about 5 to 6 100 kg bags of commodity. It has a tap. When you need to get some grains out, you don't have to open the top, because when you open the top, you're letting in air. You can see that the cover has a rubber seal, so no air will be able to get into the silo. So you cover it well once you put your grain, and then you use this to seal off the air completely.
Yes.
Whatever insects are within the silo, now that there's no more oxygen coming in, they will die.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very innovative. And are they available?
Yes, they are available within Kenya.
Good, good. I'll even be more happier when I see the store, how they have worked on it. Let's go have a look.
Well, this looks fantastic. The bags are off the floor and away from the walls, so they will keep dry and away from any rodents that might come in. And by using hermetic bags and silos, farmers can store their grain longer, so they can sell when the price is high.
Thank you, Tony. Now, let's look at markets. Finding profitable market for your produce can be quite a challenge, especially when we all harvest at the same time. However, working as a group or a cooperative can help in negotiating a better price for your harvest, especially when we bring the produce together and sell to one big buyer. This will ensure you sell all your harvest at a good price. But quality of your produce needs to meet the standards of your buyer. Otherwise, the buyer might reject your produce. So, the question is, what can make these buyers reject your produce? Let's join Tony again and our farmer Samuel in Homa Bay County to learn more.
It's harvest time and farmers are bringing their grain to be sold to the local aggregator. And this is Helen Oyare. She needs to be sure the grain she's buying is the best quality. If not, buyers such as breweries will reject it. Our expert for today is Charles Manara, a safety and quality food expert. Good, and here's Helen coming to join us.
So, Charles, why is food safety and quality important?
The law says that every trader must supply food that is of safe and acceptable quality to consumers in Kenya.
So, Helen, sometimes you do reject sorghum from farmers.
Yes.
What is the main reason that you do that?
Most of the time it's cause of molding and when it is not dry enough. Sometimes the grain, when it comes to drying, the farmer maybe just dried it on ground here. They didn't use tarpaulins and all that, so the grain is contaminated with so much dirt and molding. That is how I judge whether or not to take.
So, Charles, why is it important for the sorghum to be dry?
A lot of moisture encourages the growth of mycotoxins, which cause aflatoxin. Moisture is also a loss to the trader because the trader wants to buy grains, not the water that comes due to excess moisture. So it's an economic loss if she buys grains with a high amount of moisture. Yes.
So, remember farmers, to avoid having your grain rejected, follow good post-harvest techniques. Stook or pile upright crops like maize as you harvest. Then dry thoroughly using a tarpaulin. Use a threshing machine for shelling to get best results. and store using hermetic bags, keeping them away from the floor and the walls. Now, how do we make sure that the grain has been properly dried?
The World Food Programme recommends the use of a moisture meter.
A moisture meter is very accurate and will show if the moisture content of your grains is fit for public consumption. Generally, grain should not have more than 13.5% of moisture. But be sure to check with your buyer what moisture level they need. So, let's see how it works.
You feel it. You are doing this after sampling the way you sampled from the bags from different places. So you feel it up to that level. Then you put it back on your machine. First you press enter, so you open and the sorghum goes in. When you are ready, you just press enter. Then it will tell you the moisture content, 12.6.
Well, that looks great. It will help aggregators like Helen ensure grain is up to the standard.
I'm going to marshal our farmers so that we can form a group and then we can have a moisture meter, because right now I rely on my mouth, which sometimes is erratic. But if I have a sure moisture meter, I would take my grains to Helen, knowing that it meets the percentage that is required, and therefore there would be no rejection and losses to me.
And you know what kind of price to expect?
Yes.
Meaning loss of profit from your Shamba.
There would be no loss.
So, joining or coming together as a group to get good markets and buy things like sheller machines and moisture meter is a good move for our farmers to avoid post-harvest loss and get value from your harvest.
But what if the market is not very favorable? After the break, we shall find out how you can make more money from your harvest in Zambia. And then we will learn how to protect our grains from a harmful mold called aflatoxin.
See you after the break.
Welcome back
to Shamba Shape Up.
In today's episode, we are looking at how to avoid post-harvest loss. We have seen how to properly store your grains in Makueni and selling your grain to an aggregator in Homa Bay County in Kenya.
In this part, we will see how to protect our crops from aflatoxin in Uganda. But first, let's join Cozy in Zambia to get some tips about value addition.
Finding good market and good prices for farm produce can be challenging. So, what can farmers do to help manage post-harvest losses and be more competitive in the market? I've called on Sipiwe Haninga from Better World Innovations to help our farmers learn more. What do you farm on this property of yours?
We grow maize, we grow soya beans, we grow cucumbers and groundnuts.
Wow. Where do you sell your produce?
We have a market at Mandevu, that's where we sell our products.
What do you do with your remaining produce?
We preserve using our old methods, traditional methods of preservation. That's what we use, although part of it just goes to waste.
Right.
Yes. And also for home consumption. Yes.
So, Sipiwe, when it comes to finding markets, what advice do you have for our amazing group of farmers here today?
You know, marketing is a skill, I would say. So it's not easy for every one of us to go to the market and just sell off everything that you have.
Indeed.
There's a lot of competition out there and it's quite a struggle.
We've spoken a bit about our markets. What is value addition?
Adding value to what you already have, you know, integrating it to a next level that is going to give you more than the raw product is actually giving you.
Okay.
So if you're adding value to something, you're adding the costs of that product as well. Yes.
Right.
Each product that these farmers are growing has some value that can be added to it. And the more value you add to it, the more money in your pocket. You can add value to the groundnuts by making it powdered groundnuts. You can add value to it by blending it into peanut butter. And then you can also use it as a snack. So this is actually not roasted groundnuts, but rather fried groundnuts. So if you look at the value of these groundnuts, they look really, they're not so much. So I don't know how much do you sell a medah of groundnuts?
We do sell at 80 kwacha.
Okay. That's the shelled one?
Yes.
And then the unshelled groundnuts?
20 kwacha.
That's the beauty of value addition.
Makes sense? Let's break it down. Let's look at the importance of value addition. We have seen how by simply shelling your nuts, you can make more profits. So, what if you did more? Let's take an example of the packet of fried groundnuts. When you sell your groundnuts straight from the farm, you will sell 1 kilogram of groundnuts at around 150 Kenya shillings. If you fry and pack the groundnuts in 100 grams packet, you can sell these for 50 shillings per pack. That is 500 for the 1 kilogram of groundnuts. That's a difference of 350 shillings, all because of value addition.
Can I do these things in my home?
Of course you can. My ladies here are going to agree with me that we can easily get this powder from home using a pounding mortar. That is, every household has one. Yes. And then we can also get these from home because it's just a matter of soaking the groundnuts in water, removing the covers, and then you're able to fry these. And then every household is able to produce such a pack. Okay?
So what value do we gain when the ladies are working together?
Together you are able to achieve more than you can achieve if you're alone.
Right.
So as a cooperative, the same way that you've managed to achieve a hammer mill, you have this greenhouse here, is the same way that you can work together and come up with funds to fund a peanut butter making machine.
Following our experts' advice, there are processes that you can carry out yourself to get your produce to have a longer shelf life and sell for a better price.
Looking at the times that we're living in, there's been a lot of changes due to climate change. So imagine a situation where we wake up one day, we're waiting for the rains, and they never come. What happens next? We have hunger striking our homes, and then it's the women's to carry that burden. So in a case where the rains are bad, you have a drought spell, this is going to come in. This will mitigate the risks and other stresses that come along with climate change.
Absolutely.
So you're able to still sell your produce and live on and move on till the next rains come, and then you have another bumper harvest.
Value addition on your produce, enabling you to get a better income and increase your shelf life in these unpredictable times.
Niaje wase, naitwa Elias and I'm passionate about agriculture.
Aje wase, mi naitwa Magi na ukulima ni usanii kwangu. I don't know. Have you heard of Shamba podcast?
If not, you can listen to the Shamba podcast for all farming information.
Yes, from planting to harvesting and from breeding livestock all the way to the marketing stages.
Here's the best part. Unaweza sikiza na mokoro wako, mabeshte zako, from anywhere at any time. Bora uko na tenje na internet iko poa.
Yes, and to join us, go to Shamba podcast na ukumbuke Goma moja, episode moja.
Welcome to the Shamba weather and farming news for Kenya. In the coming week, we expect low rainfall across Kenya. The north, upper and lower eastern counties will see very low rainfall of less than 5 millimeters across the week. This covers Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka, Kitui, Makueni and Kajiado. Lower parts of Garissa will get rainfall reaching 15 millimeters across the week. The coastal counties will get low amounts of rainfall reaching 15 millimeters in the week. This includes Lamu, Tana River, Kilifi, Mombasa, Kwale, and Taita Taveta. Central Kenya will as well see very low rainfall, below 5 millimeters across the week. This covers Nyeri, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Embu, as well as Nairobi and Kiambu. Parts of Laikipia and Nyandarua will have up to 15 millimeters. North, Central, and South Rift Valley will get moderate amounts of rainfall of up to 50 millimeters across the week. This includes West Pokot, Uasin Gishu, Marakwet, Nandi to Nakuru. Turkana, Samburu and Narok will see very low rainfall below 5 millimeters. The western and Nyanza regions expect moderate rainfall of up to 50 millimeters in the week. This includes Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Nyamira and Kisii. For a detailed weather forecast for your area and more farming tips, get in touch with Shamba. Call 0711 082 606. See you next week on the Shamba Shape Up Farming News for Kenya.
Thank you, Brenda. Now, let's join Frob in Uganda as he deals with a true menace when it comes to post-harvest.
Poor storage exposes our harvested maize to pests, rodents, moisture, and the buildup of aflatoxin, which affects the quality. But what if we can solve that problem in the garden?
Today we are in Omukatsi village in Embere Parish, Chiruhura district, and we are visiting Nwagaba Henry and his 2 children.
I've got a problem of maize whereby they get rotten in the plantation. So the time of harvesting, you find others are okay, others are not fine. It has also reduced my maize, what I'm supposed to harvest in the garden.
We are meeting Semalulu Frank from IITA to show us how to put a stop to it.
So this is the problem that I was talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Frank, you're the specialist.
This is a sign of aflatoxin contamination.
What is aflatoxin?
Aflatoxins, they are poisons. Poisons that are produced by a specific group of fungi, the green molds found in the field, that attack the crop and start producing aflatoxins to contaminate the crop, making it not safe for human and animal consumption. For example, if you consume maize that has already shown the signs, that means you are at a high risk of getting the dangers of aflatoxins, and one of them is liver cancer.
Aflatoxin is very dangerous when consumed. It can cause cancer, and farmers in Uganda make losses every year because of it.
Aflatoxins are known for causing stunted growth in children, and then immunosuppression, reducing the ability of the body to fight against diseases. Another danger is that it can cause death. Yes. So these aflatoxins are really dangerous because they cannot be removed from food by cooking. So you cannot say that since I'm going to boil the food, I'm going to fry, then I will get rid of these aflatoxins. No, they are heat stable, that once the food is contaminated, it is fully contaminated. Oftentimes, if, for example, maize is not having that right color, we opt to give it to animals.
Yes.
It is not good. Reason being that these animals, when they are fed on feeds that are already contaminated, the aflatoxins can manifest in their product. For example, eggs. That means if you give chicken food that is already contaminated, the aflatoxins will appear in eggs and you suffer the consequences.
How is it spread?
When the green molds found in the field from the soil attack the crop, spread by wind in that process as it grows.
Yes.
So from planting up to when the crop is ready for harvesting, all that period is a gestation period, I should call it, that the green molds use to spread within the crop. So by the time you reach harvesting, the crop is already affected by these green molds that produce the aflatoxins.
Does it only affect maize or other crops?
It affects other crops. For example, sorghum, groundnuts, simsim.
Mr. Frank, like you said, it does not begin from here after harvesting and whatsoever. You said it begins from the garden.
From the garden.
How can I prevent it from the garden?
We have a solution that is going to help us fight these aflatoxin producers right from the field, and that is Aflasafe.
Aflasafe?
Yeah, Aflasafe. So Aflasafe has been made to fight against the aflatoxin producers in field. It is a biocontrol consisting of sorghum that has been roasted not to germinate, and then the color, this food color or the dye, containing the biological agent coated along or on these sorghum seeds, acting as a carrier, and then this fungicide can be applied in the field of maize, of sorghum, of peanuts, or any other crop that is susceptible to aflatoxin contamination.
So how do you apply the Aflatoxin in the garden?
We apply Aflatoxin in the garden by broadcasting. You reach the garden having the crop at a stage of 2 to 3 weeks before flowering, and then broadcast these sorghum seeds are coated with the agent. Right. So when we apply this Aflatoxin in the garden, these agents that we coated are going to spread all over the field, denying a chance of the bad ones coming out from the soil to come and infest our crop. It is always a good practice that when you spot out these already affected maize, sort them out. Don't mix the ones that are already affected with the clean ones. Because these affected ones or the discolored ones, they are acting as sources of contamination. That these bad fungi would live and then affect the clean ones. So that's why it is good to sort them out.
For best results, also always follow good agronomic practices.
Hey, Rob. How did it go?
I'm happy that with Aflatoxin, Henry is going to have toxic-free maize.
I'm feeling so good about this.
This is the start of a prosperous farming journey.
Thank you, Frob and Agi. For more information on where to get Aflatoxin as you go into the next planting season, please get in touch with Shamba on 0711 082 606.
Join us next week
as we learn how else we can make the most from our Shambas right here on Shamba Shape Up.